With just 1 week away for the spring season of 2025, we are just about ready for another plethora of exciting new anime series. And as always, there will not only be brand new seasons of anime, but also returning ones. That includes the return of One Piece, which felt like an eternity after the anime's 6-month hiatus, so I'm excited to see it back on air on April 6, 2025. However, in regards to the other series, I'm a bit unfamiliar with some of them, but these are the ones I definitely feel like you might not want to miss. This is AniManco 9000, a channel where we talk about content related to anime, manga, and other types of media. And in this video, I'll be going over the top upcoming spring 2025 anime series that you will want to check out. And as usual, if you want to hear more of the contents I mentioned earlier, just subscribe to my channel and leave a comment down below if there's any other topics you want me to talk about. But before we start going over the list, I'd like to give an honorary mention of the upcoming Devil May Cry series premiering on Netflix. Yes, I am aware that the show isn't really an anime series, but since it's made by the same studio that is known for producing series that are heavily influenced by anime, it's close enough. Plus, if you have been a long-time Devil May Cry fan and have been waiting for some new content regarding the franchise, this be it. The Netflix show isn't part of the game's canon storyline, so there won't be any contradiction. It'll just be a series where you can just sit back and enjoy the ride. And I can say for myself that this is an anime series I'm looking forward to. Alright, so first on the list, we got a new series coming within the spring lineup, and I gotta say, upon looking at the title and the promotional images that came along with it, I was surprised that this series even got an anime adaptation given where it originated. I won't go into too much detail as to why, but all you need to know is that the anime, Yandere Dark Elf She Chased Me All the Way from Another World, is basically a reverse isekai series. In this case, after the protagonist, Hinata, completed his journey at defeating a demon king in another world, he returns to his own world. Then, after some time of settling back into his own life, one of his companions, a love-obsessed dark elf, decides to follow him back to Earth and live with him, leading to all sorts of shenanigans. I won't deny this series isn't for everyone, but I thought this be something some of you want to know, especially to those who are a fan of dark-skinned elves. In any case, next on the list, we got a second season of Go Go Loser Ranger. Now, I gotta be frank on this one, I haven't watched the first season, and I don't think I'll be planning on doing so anytime soon. Mainly due to personal reasons, as I grew up with the Power Rangers series, so I wasn't sure how I would feel about a series that's basically the anime version of The Boys. I have heard that season 1 kind of fell off, so I think I made the right choice. Nevertheless, to anyone who still enjoys this anime adaptation, I'm just giving you all a heads up. And while we're still on the subject of a returning series, we got another season of Black Butler. Although this one I have to keep it short since I haven't been really invested with the series itself. The only thing I can tell from the trailer is that the new season will be seemingly moving on to the next arc, but that's all I know. Up next, we have a brand new isekai series called I'm the Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire, and from what I've read with a few chapters of the manga version, it seems like an okay series to get into. The story revolves around Liam, who, after living a horrible life in his old world due to his own kind nature being taken advantage of, and through the manipulation of a mysterious entity, he gets reincarnated into a new world where he decides to live as a tyrant. However, his attempts of becoming said tyrant is mostly making everyone see him as a benevolent leader, and it will continue on throughout the series. Honestly, it sounds like a running gag that will get too old and too tiring really fast, but still likely enjoyable to watch. Moving forward, we got a new fantasy series, and like most of the anime series we've been getting lately, it is where the main character is also a middle-aged man. The series is known as From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman, and after reading about half of the available chapters from the manga, it turned out to be a pretty good series. The story follows Barrow Garnet, a skilled swordsman from a small village, and upon being visited by one of his former pupils, the old swordsman will later be invited to be an instructor at a capital city. Overall, from what I've seen, the fight scenes are pretty good, and the relationship between the MC and his former pupils are pretty wholesome. So, with this in mind, here's hoping the anime adaptation does this series justice. Now, to anyone who is interested in a series where music is involved, as well as it contain a variety of female characters with some charming personalities, there is a new series called Rock is a Lady's Modesty. Unfortunately, besides the fact that the setting seems to take place in an all-girls school, where 4 of the female students would form a rock band, this is one series I'm not too familiar with. Although I have read that the manga was recommended by the author who created Bocchi the Rock, and since I do hear good things about that series, this coming-of-age series appears to be something worth looking into. Plus, who wouldn't want to hear some potentially good head-banging music? Of course, if you are looking for a show that is more action-based, with some bit of comedy and thriller, then we got an original anime series called Lazarus. The series is made by MAPPA Studios, and if it's anything like Zenshu, I'm expecting good things from it. The story takes place in a utopian era, where a miracle drug will kill all the people who took it, and it's up to 5 agents to look for the man who created the drug and obtain the vaccine. So far, based on the trailer alone, it definitely got some of that good MAPPA Studio animation, with some bit of Cowboy Bebop vibes mixed in, so this series was sure to be one heck of a wild ride. On another note, if you are into a more classic series, we got Yaiba Samurai Legend, and from what I heard, the series is a readaptation of the original anime series, and is made by the same author who created Detective Conan. What's more, given how the show was created as a shonen genre, we'll likely be expecting some of that old-time shonen trope that we used to know. In this case, we will be basically following the story of a young boy Yaiba, who goes on a journey to become a true samurai, while also facing off against many would-be challengers. First impression alone, it definitely stands out among the other spring lineup, although since I am practically new to the series myself, I can't tell how good it will be. But considering it's made by Wit Studio, it may turn out to be one of the best this year. Coming up, we got a surprising new series that's based on a well-known fighting game. It's called Guilty Gear Strive Duel Rulers, and just putting this aside, I haven't played any of the games, so I can't exactly tell you what to expect within this series, especially when it comes to the story's lore. At the same time, I do know the franchise itself is pretty popular, and if there's one thing I know about Arc System, is that they always know how to create fun and unique characters within their games. Because of this, I am curious at how these fighters will be portrayed in an anime adaptation, and I can at least expect some interesting interaction between them. Also, going back on the fact that it is based on a fighting game, the fight choreography here should be just as entertaining. Along the way, we have a series that is adapted from a manhwa called The Beginning After the End. From what I've been hearing about this manhwa, it seems like a series you won't regret reading. Fact is, I've been meaning to get a chance to check the series myself, but I haven't found the right time. All I know about the series is that it focuses on a main character who was once a king, mysteriously died and got reincarnated to a new world. Then, upon being reborn, he would face many challenges, using what he learned from his past life as he navigates his new one. I can't be sure if it will do well as solo leveling currently is, but who knows, maybe it will at least do better than most manhwas that's been adapted so far. Same situation can be said about this upcoming Gundam series, Mobile Suit Gundam CQX. Now, much like the other Gundam seasons that came before this one, this latest iteration of the franchise will have a completely different storyline, with obviously new characters and mechs. And from what I can gather about this series plot, it is one where one of the lead characters would be dragged and participate in some sort of illegal mobile suit dueling sports known as Clan Battle. Not too much to go by, but sounds interesting enough, and this latest variation of the Gundam mech suit does have a much more unique design compared to its predecessors. Of course, whether or not it can hold up with the other big-time Gundam series is something we have to dive right in and find out ourselves. Regardless, let's go over to another returning series, and that's Windbreaker Season 2, or as some would say, the second season of the better version of Tokyo Revengers. Admittedly, when I first watched the first season, I wasn't expecting too much of it, but upon actually watching it, I was completely blown by the fight sequence and the music in this series. Last season, the main cast, who as a group go by Bufurin, were going up against Shishi Torin, and in this upcoming one, it looks like the main group will be fighting against another group of delinquents. As someone who caught up with the manga, I'm excited to see how the fights will turn out here, as well as more of the characters who will be getting a chance to shine. But now let's get into a series that's not based on from a manga. The series in question is called To Be Hero X, and on record, I don't know the exact premise of the series other than the fact that it is clearly a superhero themed show. Still, from what little info I got about the series, it seems like every episode will be mainly focusing on each individual hero character. And I gotta say, this is one series I've been curious since the first trailer back in 2023, and given how the soundtrack is being produced by none other than Hiroyuki Sawano, the one who composes the music for Solo Leveling, among others, it automatically tells me the series will be good, so definitely something I consider jumping into, especially if you enjoy an anime series revolving around superheroes. And speaking of a superhero themed series, we also have My Hero Academia Vigilantes, a prequel of the main My Hero series. Frankly, I never thought this series will even get a chance for an anime adaptation, especially since the last season of the main series will be airing this coming fall. However, I'm happy that I'm wrong, because what makes this series so great is that not only do we see a different perspective of how heroes operate outside of hero society, but also additional background of certain characters who were introduced in the main series, but never got that much screen time, as well as see events that would act as an origin story for the ones that will later occur in the main storyline. Right now, it's unknown just how far the first season will go, though I suspect it'll last about 13 episodes. Either way, it'll be a great series to watch as we wait for My Hero Academia Season 8. Finishing off the list, we got a third season of Fire Force, and if you guys haven't watched the first 2 seasons yet, I suggest doing so. The fights in this series are spectacular to watch, a lot of memorable and funny moments, and the lore within the story continues to get more perplexing and crazy. Also, if you are a Soul Eater fan, well, so far this is about as close as we can get for a remake of the anime series, if you know what I mean. The third season is broken into 2 parts, with part 2 not appearing until next year, but it's just great to finally see a new season after so long. Okay, that's about some of the anime lineup appearing in spring. If there are any other series that you think are interesting, or I may have missed, just leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.